a lot of different areas of life, the full spectrum of every area of life, we change our world. I have a couple here that I met them a couple of weeks ago. I don't see them in the room, but they're here, and they sat with me at Grant Cardone's office a couple of weeks ago, and they said, we have a mission. We invest in mobile homes. Yeah, is Christian and Brooke in the room? They'll be here. And I said, awesome, cool, you're a real estate investor, but check this out. They said, we want to redefine how people look at families within trailer parks. Like they're not the lowest of the earth. This is what they're telling me. They're hardworking human beings. They deserve to have a community that's plush and beautiful in an incredible home. They deserve to be seen differently by the community leaders. And we're changing that. And I'm thinking to myself, I grew up in a trailer park in Sierra Vista, Arizona. And I know how I was looked at school because of that trailer park that I grew up in. I'm gonna help these people do whatever they freaking can to change the narrative, change the game, and make a boatload of money while they do it. Like, because I'm not gonna take away the income from the impact. Every time I ask the question, who would rather have income versus impact? You guys now know the right answer. But in the beginning, 95% of you raised your hand for impact because that's who I attract into my world. 5% of you raised your hand for income. And the answer is freaking both. So I have to start in this message bucket because if you don't wrap your mind around identifying which bucket you're in, it's really difficult to help. So like as you walked into this room today, online and every single person in the room, would you self-identify, not yet, with, I don't even know if I have a message, but now maybe there's a paradigm shift in saying, yeah, you help people. You help people look more beautiful. Help them understand they're more attractive inside and out. Like I'm speaking to someone with that, but like, would you self-identify with like, I didn't know I had a message. And I want to understand really what that is. Would you self-identify in bucket 2 with, I knew I have a message, but I'm not very clear on it. I'm not clear on it. Or would you self-identify with bucket 3, I have a message, I know I'm clear on it, and I got to take it to the next level. Who would be in bucket 1? I'm just curious, 1. And online, bucket 1. If you're bucket 1, give me a thumbs up and put 1 in the chat. Okay? Who would identify with bucket 2? I'm not clear. I know I have something. Who would identify with bucket 2? Like, let me see your hands. Hands up high. Don't be ashamed of that. Online? Online, how about you? Okay. And who would say bucket 3? Who would identify in that bucket? Like it's all about taking it to another level. Okay. What's bucket 3? You're clear on your message, but I always got to do, with Dr. Patel, I always have to go a little bit further with him. And he stayed out a little bit too late last night. So bucket 3 is you're clear. And you just need to know how to go to the next level with it. Like take it to another level. My intention is to serve every single person in all 3 buckets this weekend. And at my second event, a guy over here by the name of Joe Beckman sat. And Joe Beckman said, ask this question. Pete, I had told Joe I care deeply about your message. And then Joe, on the phone, I told him this. He's one of our first customers. And then he sees me in a room tell everybody I care about your message. And Joe's like, how can that be? He was confused by that. I said, Joe, if I don't have enough people tackling all of the problems out in this world, a lot of people, it's going to take a lot of people to change the dynamic in what's happening in our world. And if I don't empower them in a way that's game-changing, like I have to make sure that every industry, every niche, every topic, everything is covered within our community. So for those of you that were at the dinner with me last night, or the reception, all of a sudden I went down memory lane in a way that I had never gone down the very first speak-off. Oh crap, Dr. Kirthi is helping veterans who have PTSD, and he was in the first speak-off. Grace is helping people with meditation and eliminating stress in their lives. Brooks Gibbs is helping people, kids, not being bullied and understanding what it's like to create a school atmosphere of compassion. Danny Brissell is helping kids around the world find their love for reading. That resonates with me so deeply because my daughter in the last 3 months has found a love for reading. It's a lost art. LaVonna Roth is helping women ignite their shine and find the glow within them and not find their identity in just being a mom, but their shine is so much bigger than that. That was the first speak-off. That all came back to me last night. How do I remember that from 2005? I remember that because when I understand your message, it's like a check mark goes off in my head that topic, that industry, and that niche is covered. We're good to go. We're good to go. I hope you can see how my brain thinks about messages. I hope that you can see it. Because when I understand the domain, the industry, the topic that you're serving, man, it's like we got this covered now. And how do we cover all the ground? That's what I see. That's what this event is about. And so this is what I want to do today. I just want to set the tone. We've got thousands of people that have registered to be a part, they've gotten tickets, that have paid to be here online, in person. But I also got 750 people this morning that got to register, and I'll talk about this tomorrow for all of you in the room, that wanted to preview this first session to see if this event makes sense for them to be at for the next 3 days. So, I want to make sure and give you a little glimpse here and online of what to be expecting for the next 3 days. Because the thing I don't take for granted is your time. I don't take that for granted, Hetsu, at all. Roger, I don't take that at all. Can't wait for you guys to hear from Roger. I'm a plumber. Who's heard the famous lines? I'm a plumber. If I can do it, you can do it. Love this guy. And so I'm excited. So welcome to A360. Guys, we can bring these slides up here. Welcome to A360. And I want you to understand that this is an event last year that was formed in the midst of crisis. It was a completely transformed event, all virtual. Got to do it with my partners, Barry and Blue, who helped us pull it off in North Carolina. And I shared something with Barry and Blue. I said, I want to test the boundaries. Barry's only doing this with 2 clients this year. I want to test the boundaries of how to do a hybrid event. Because I still believe not all of the world can come to an event. So I want to be prepared because we're going to do something major this fall that you guys will hear about. It will be the biggest thing that we've ever done, and you will be a part of it. Many of you will be highlighted on it. We're going to do a 7-city tour, a hybrid tour across the major cities, helping people understand how to build their platforms. And many of our accelerators will be highlighted in these 7 cities. And the biggest names in the world will be on that tour. Like, I cannot wait to unveil the people who will be on this tour. But the people at home and the people in person, the folks they will resonate with most is not the A-list celebrity, but the plumber who could do it. The plumber who could build a platform. The functional medicine doctor who could build a platform. The coach who I don't even know their name could build a platform. That's who they're going to resonate with the most. And so this is a hybrid event. This is the testing grounds to say, I see you. Man, they're unbelievable, aren't they? I mean, they're unbelievable. Christopher, I see you. Ricky, I see you. Charlene, I see you. Harry, I see you. But this is the testing ground. And I'm going to help you understand what makes this difficult. Like, I'm not going to forget about these people. I won't forget about you, but I'm not going to forget about them. And there will always be a virtual component to events. And I got to see one of the biggest names in the world see me do it right on his stage. I was the only one who did it right on his stage, which grossed him multiple millions of dollars more from doing virtual right, doing hybrid right. Because these folks at home, they're real people just like us. And if they feel like it's one-way communication and they feel like it's a live stream, you're missing it. You're missing it. I've been able to serve some really big clients this year, and we've got to make sure that this year, as we step into the hybrid model, that you don't just slap on a little live stream to it. You can't just slap on a little live stream and say, we're live streaming you in. Well, guess what? They're checked out and multitasking. Those people do not feel checked out and multitasking right now. I mean, Kristen's got her mustache on up there. Look at Kristen with her mustache on right there. And so, yes, last year we redefined how to do a virtual event. Why did we redefine it? Because we lost $5 million in the month of April. $5 million of top-line revenues in the month of April. $5 million. And I made a decision not to lay one person off. Not one person off. And our team has doubled since last April. Doubled. And not from 4 to 8, from like 25 to 50 full-time people. And we did that because we created this virtual experience. That's in North Carolina last year. That's within few weeks of COVID hitting. And we were able to do that. And Forbes recognized us as one of the people that pivoted. A big tech magazine just came out in Silicon Valley and said, Advance Your Reach is one of the leading authorities in the way to do this now. And I would bring, and you're gonna get to meet Barry and Blue. Blue promised me he'd have a haircut before he got on stage, but you're gonna get to meet Barry and Blue. I believe they're innovative and creative in one of the most profound ways as well. And what happened last year? We made more money in 1 month, more revenues in 1 month than we did the entire year before. And I know some of you have saw this, but I hope it really sinks in. We were able to see the amount of customers that came in the first 4 years and 2 months of our business happen more than that. That wasn't 500 new customers. That was 8,600 new customers come in March, April, and May. Why? Because we understand what it means and what it takes to build a platform. To build a platform. And yeah, we got to go help some amazing folks out through the process. And within the first full year of helping, these are just a handful of the people we helped. There's a guy in Dallas, Texas that's going to be here that said, Pete, you transformed my business. But within the first 12 months of helping them out, we will have generated $250 million in revenues. $250 million in revenues. And here's what a lot of you think. A lot of you think a couple of things, but I want to put it into the bucket. A lot of you think he did that because of the virtual event. Well, that's been a big piece of it. A lot of you might think it's because he understands the stage to scale method, which I've been teaching for 5 years and doing for 20 years. And that's a big piece of it. But what we got really clear on, Hatsu, is we believe we are the leading authorities in the world in helping people build their platforms. If you can build your platform strategically, you become unstoppable. Like unstoppable. And so when the announcement came last year that said Michael Hyatt is selling Platform University, a 7-year-old brand, multi-million-dollar company, tens of thousands of customers, 100,000 people on the email list. When that came to light, everybody began to pursue that company. They had 7 different people put offers on that company. 7. I said, I'm going to come in strong. No creative deals. Like, hey, I'll give you a little bit now, and I'll give you a little bit in a year once we get some of our money back. No, I'm coming in strong. It was uncomfortable. It was scary. Tell us. You want the numbers. I said, cool. And some of you are going to think this is high, and some of you are going to think this is low. I'm interested to see which bucket you fall into. We bought Platform University in November of 2020 for $1.25 million cash. $1.25 million cash. Right, Josh? Cash. Josh wrote the check. Josh wrote the check. And that was the day where I put the stake in the ground to say, yes, I can help you with your virtual events. Yes, I can help you with getting on stages, communicating your message. But we started to understand that if we're really going to help our community at the level and the depth and the width that we want to help them, we have to help them understand what it takes to build a platform. November of 2020 is when I put the stake in the ground. It wasn't the best timing. Like, that's not the best timing to buy a company. And there's several people that said, no, finance it. No, if I would have financed it, I wouldn't have won it. Right. I went and I put my money where my mouth is and said, I'm putting a stake in the ground, and we're doing this. And so you are about to see a subtle shift in my big, hairy, audacious goal, which has you in it. You've seen me say that we want to help 1 billion people get on 1 million stages. Well, the subtle shift today is we want to help build 1 million customers' platforms. I don't know if you realize how scary that is. It's really easy to be like 1 million stages. I'm going to give you an update. We created this big, hairy, audacious goal. Courtesy, Jim Collins is the one who came up with that term. We created that in 2018 as a leadership team. Let me tell you why this is scary. It's really easy for me to send Tanner and Kate an email every year and say, hey, how many stages were you on last year? And Tanner's like, I was on 20. And Kate's like, I was on 21. They're married, and obviously she wins always. So now I've got 41 towards it. But now, that's easier. But now it's like, no, you count as one, and you count as one. We want to help 1 million people build platforms. a million people build platforms. I can't gamify that anymore. I can't get 20 and 21 from you and 18 from you and 30 from you and 17 from you. Like, I have to have a million people that I'm helping build platforms. And that's a shift. Like, Julie and I pulled the trigger on that without really even talking to the leadership team. Daniel's like, what's happening here? In different industries, different niches, different topics, are we still committed to 1 million stages by 2027, 100%? Are we still committed to 1 billion people, 100%? But we believe we're going to help 1 million people build their platforms. 1 million people build their platforms. And so you know that over the course of when I worked for Rachel's Challenge and a few other organizations, I booked 25,000 stages out of my offices. But since we put that big, hairy, audacious goal, we just got the numbers back last week, and this is something to celebrate. That's not since 2015, that's since 2018. 2018, 328,000 stages are how many stages you've been on. How do you know that? Because we audit it every year. Who do you audit? Our customers. Meaning you don't even audit your non-customers? No, because if we audited our non-customers, by the way, they're not invested in their businesses like you are. And they probably wouldn't give me accurate data. They'd probably fudge their data. Like, so we do not even audit our non-customers. Like, we use random sampling based on who sends back their data. And then we're able to do that. I don't understand the mathematic equation around it, but we're able to do that across our customer base. So when we audit you every year, please return the numbers. Because the auditing is going to look a lot different with having 1 million people that we're helping them build their platforms. By the way, here in a minute, I'm going to tell you how much the customers have made in the last 3 years as well. Would you like to know that? How much our customers have made. That's the impact, but we also got to talk about the income. The income matters. That's the impact. We also have to talk about the income. So yes, this is what you know us for. Yeah, that's what you know us for. And that doesn't change. This is still a core belief of what we believe. The stage to scale methodology is the quickest way for somebody who's getting started to build their business from scratch. But in order to sustain and go wide and go deep, we're redefining what the stage means, which is helping you build your platform. And Webster defines a platform as a raised, elevated surface on which people or things stand. This is Webster's definition. I want you to see PV3's definition. I want you to see PV3's definition of what a platform is. Look at the subtle changes in how I'm about to change this definition. A raised, elevated surface on which people or things stand. Oh, I'm on a platform, I stand, and the things up here stand. No, this is the definition. A raised, elevated surface on which people or things can take a stand, a place where your message, your impact, and your income is amplified for a greater purpose than yourself. The purpose of what happened Saturday in that chiropractic was bigger than just for Dr. Collins. It was for the health of everybody who comes into his world. Every time I talk chiropractic, we're going to get the one chiropractor like, yeah, come on, amen. Who needs adjustments in the back? I'm selling them. This is what we're committed to. A raised or elevated surface on which you and the things that you stand for are elevated and control the microphone. And in order to do that, we, this weekend, are revealing and will be going over for the first time ever the Build Your Platform framework. I have never, ever, ever taught this. Tim Ringgold's like, man, I'm glad I came to this. And listen, you will see elements of the stage to scale process in here because I cannot take that stuff away. It's a part of this. But what we've come to realize is there's 6 pieces that build upon each other, and as these 6 rise up, so does your platform. Watch how the visual element of this is as these build, the 6 things rise up. Number 1, you have to have clarity. And I'm going to get clear on that because there's a piece of clarity that 80% of this room is missing. 80% of the room is missing one big piece of clarity. You've got to become a communicator both with the spoken word and the written word. I've gotten some emails from some of you. And the communication was not good. I've heard some of you. I've experienced the body language of some of you. I've heard a lot of you not ask powerful questions. Like communication is a big thing. The third thing is you gotta have customers. Customers. Customers, customers, customers. Gotta have customers to build a platform. Or else it's just you. The fourth thing you gotta have is you gotta have stages. You do. OPSs, OWNs, you understand stages very, very well. The fifth thing, this is one of the biggest missing elements. Biggest missing elements is Sam. Somebody yesterday asked me, who doesn't know who Sam is? Raise your hand. Go ahead, Matt. Matt, you asked me that yesterday. Matt might be the one guy who doesn't know what Sam is. I told him, you don't know what Sam is? I'm going to introduce you to him today, okay? Matt, I'm going to introduce you to her today. Hey, you're going to be dating Sam later. Don't tell her who Sam is. Don't tell her who Sam is. Are you married? Okay, well, you're going to be dating Sam by the end of today. So you are married, okay? And you're married? You're going to be dating her by the end of the day. And what people think they understand about Sam, it's about to go to a different level. Actually, tomorrow. It's tomorrow. And then here is the piece that my team got so clear on. There are some things that we've done to really scale it, to take it to another level, that we've never taught the world. Not because of naiveness, just because of being in the implementation of doing. Not because we wanted to hide it. It was just like, oh, this is the thing that's prohibiting people from taking their platform to the next level. When you build these 6 things up, your platform, you control the microphone on a level that nobody else in your niche or industry will control it. That's so good to see you. Thank you for being here. That is what we're going to go over these 3 days. Something we haven't ever done because it's taken us since November of 2020. We have been having discussions as a team since November, December, January, February, March, April. What is the framework? It took us 6 months to get to this framework. And you guys are going to get to hear this framework. You guys are going to get to hear this framework. Guys, once again, this should be 2018 to 2020. In 2018, we made a decision that we were going to track and monitor and audit the numbers. And here are the numbers. I told you already, 328,000 stages. 72 million lives impacted. This is from our customers. These numbers are as of the end of 2020. And here's the revenues that you have generated. I mean, there should be a little bit loud. $500 million. $500 million. That's not us making those numbers up. That's you telling us those numbers. $500 million. Now all of a sudden I'm like, frack, we're getting to the billion by the end of 2021. Like, let's get to $1 billion. Let's get to 250 million. And I ain't waiting till 2027 to get to 1 million stages. Like, I think we can do that in 2 or 3 years. Like these are the numbers. And here's what exponentially grows those numbers, is when you can sustain and build and sustain your platform. Your platform. Like, man, if Dr. Collins really wants help, I should have invited him to this event. I don't know why I didn't. But Danielle said, Pete, I want to go to the event. I want to be there. Why? Because she does a type of body work on me, and Jimmy Nelson and I were talking about this, and red light therapy and training me in a way that I've never been trained. She can only meet with so many people one-on-one. You only have so much time in a day. She has got to figure out how to build her platform where she doesn't have to be reliant on just one-on-one work. Because if she works one-on-one and works with 25 clients, she changes 25 lives. But I don't know what to do to go help people do what she does. So how does she take that to a different level? She's got to understand how to build her platform. And here's what I want to say, and this is going to be a really bold statement. Hey, virtual, you haven't heard this? They did hear this. 6 months ago, a big VC, a venture capitalist group, approached us and said, we want to inquire of buying Advance Your Reach. 3 months later, and a multiple 8-figure offer was extended to us to buy Advance Your Reach. 51% of Advance Your Reach. You go into the industries that we're in, the people that you know, I know, and you know, and a lot of people out in the world, you will see 95% of them not have the ability to have an offer made on their company because it's personality driven. And I want your thing to be platform driven, process driven. Platform driven, process driven. Because if you choose to sell it, I made a decision not to. Because I feel like we're only getting started. We're only getting started. So what we're going to talk about, it's serious business. It's like really serious. And give us grace this week because we're going to be teaching some of these concepts for the first time and having you work on these concepts. So what are we going to be teaching a few minutes before we actually have the at-home folks do a little bit of work and the in-person do some work? Is we're going to be teaching what clarity really looks like. Clarity personally, clarity with the problems that you can solve, clarity with the people you can serve, and clarity with the purpose. A lot of you know the middle two, but you do not have the clarity on the top or the bottom one. What do I mean by the top one? You can be so clear on the problem you want to solve in the world and the people you want to serve, and oh, by the way, there's a lot of problems to be solved. The bigger the problems you solve, the more money you make. Write this down. It's as hard to solve a small problem as it is to solve a big problem. It's as difficult to solve a small problem as it is to solve a big problem. So go figure out bigger problems to solve. It takes as much energy and time. The reason we were able to incorporate an 8-figure piece of our business, new piece of our business last May, which was the virtual event space, was because that was a big problem in the world. And we were able to go tackle it. But here's the piece that I want to make sure you understand is the first one, is what is getting in the way. It's you being clear that you are the one called to do this work. Like, listen, you can be like, I know my market. I know the problem. I know who I want to serve. I know my pricing. I know all of this. But if you aren't clear up here, if you aren't clear in your mind, let me tell you this. TD Jakes shot me a message and said, Pete, I would be in the room this weekend with you, but I'm out of town. And he invited me to the Potter's house on Sunday, and I'm so honored. I'm going to take Keaton and Mia and go. But TD Jakes, he says something every day. I listen to him every day. And he said, new levels bring new devils. The new level you go to, it brings a new devil. Like a new hardship, a new attack. The bigger the problem, like there's new devils that are coming your way. Like look at however you want to with devils. I'm just saying like attacks and issues and things. And I don't give a rip if you're clear on the problem you solve and who you serve, if you're not clear that you are the one that's supposed to take this to the world, and you're the one who has to be up here every single day reinforcing the fact that you are the one. You are the one. I've been missing it for too long, and I'm not going to miss it anymore. Like I've been telling you to be clear on the problem you solve, and some of you sound really eloquent with that and who you serve, and it's powerful. But then if I went up here for a minute, it's like, man, that's not congruent. You got to get strong up here. I told you, you got to get out of your own way and go do the work up here. There's a clarity that has to happen up here. Pat will talk about the other three. I'm going to talk about the first one and last one just for a second. Figure out a purpose that other people find themselves in. Do you realize my purpose, my BHAG, is you finding yourselves in there? I'm sure Meredith did the math the first time I said 1,000,000 stages. She's like, I'm going to be about 48 of those every single year. She found herself in it. The real estate agent that helped people with foreclosures in the Phoenix area, her BHAG was simply to help 100 people not foreclose on their house a decade ago. So when she shared that purpose, people found themselves in it. Like, I want to be one of those people. Some of you are clear on the middle two, but you're not clear on the top and the bottom one. It's not clear. The second thing that we're going to talk about is communication. And yes, you guys know Signature Story and you know Signature Talk really well. And I hope that you get to know it even better this weekend with the great Pat Quinn. But some of you got to start creating more powerful signature content. Your signature content, your signature talk is what brings people into your world that don't know you. Your signature content is the stuff that makes them raving fans and keeps them in your world. People are like, do you share your same signature talk all the time? No, you guys don't hear me share my signature talk. I'm constantly creating more signature content. You want to know the demonstration of that? The Build Your Platform framework. I had to create that because I understood that was the gap. So signature content. And then, by the way, I'm going to tell you what a lot of the people are doing out there as they grow and they elevate. And by the way, you don't have to try to get all of this right away. Your signature team. Your signature team. The other people who are communicating on your team around this. Customers. Ooh, I'm excited about this. Some of you in the stage to scale model would formally know this as scale. But we've shifted it. This is what I want you to have. Really important for you to have this. So you've got to understand the customer journey. Here's the thing that most people miss out on, is that you don't realize that you have IP, intellectual property. You have intellectual property. This year, I just put all of my intellectual property into an entity that I now realize could sell for a lot of money. And it's constant development of intellectual property that takes the customers on the journey that they need to be taken on. And the second thing is, what is your success path? What is your success path? I walked into Dr. Collins' office. He said, I can get you short-term results right away before your event next Thursday. I'm like, yeah. But how can you correct this where this little back thing doesn't keep coming back because it's happened 3 times in the last 2 years? And here's what he pulled out. He pulled out his success path that spoke my language. Most of your success paths don't speak their language. They speak your language. His success path spoke my language, and I literally saw myself going through that success path from moving from the red to the green. And I said, how long will it take to move from the red to the green? He's like, you're here, right here. How do I get up here? 3 to 6 months. And after a couple of treatments, after a little bit of money, here's the success path plan. Okay, sign me up. Sign me up, I'm in. Because I don't want just short-term results, I want long-term results. Some of you have not gotten clear on your success path for your customers. Creating products and services, we've talked a lot about that. I'm about to do something today that will rock your world and help you understand this at a deeper level. And then the biggest thing missing in our world today is community connection. What are you doing to build your community? How many of you in the room were at Movara with me? Hands up high, keep them up. Would you say that's 40 people, 35 people, 40 people? Yeah, close to 40, just a guess. Watch this. That's about 70% of the people who were at Movara with me. Did we build our community? Did we go deeper? Do I feel more connected to you? Do you feel more connected to one another? Yes? Because of an intentional plan to get together once a year for an entire week and do hard things together. Hard things. Hard things. Like 15 miles a day type of hard. They call it a resort. I know, it's funny. Movara Resorts. But I want you to see something. That's called community connection. That's one element of community connection. Whatever you do, build community with your customers because they want and desire community. Build it in, figure it out. I've not always been amazing at it. I'm every day. For those of you have heard a massive, I've shared with my accelerators in the room a big announcement that we made last week on the accelerator call. But I'm going to share it with the group here because I knew that this decision would continue to deepen the community that we build and the way that we serve our customers. That's the customer bucket. The stages bucket, I'm not going to talk long about, you know them, but today in 2015, the world got revealed, 27 people at my first event, which is not the world, were shown the Unstoppable Stage campaign. And it was based on my history of booking 25,000 stages. And tomorrow, thousands of people online and in person, I've learned a thing or two from you guys being on 320,000 stages in the last 3 years. I've learned what was missing from the Unstoppable Stage campaign. I've learned how to up-level it, take it to the next level, and the actual things that are working to win stages much faster. Tomorrow, I share with you for the first time ever the OPS funnel. And I've been told by the funnel experts, if you don't know what a funnel is, you'll definitely understand it more this weekend. I've been told that there's not another OPS funnel on the planet. And so you're going to get to see the funnel, i.e. campaign, formerly known as the Unstoppable Stage campaign, the newest version of it. And why did we make the shifts and changes based on data? 326,000 stages, 25,000 stages. You learn a thing or two. Tomorrow, you guys will all get to know that. I got to see some emojis back here. I mean, come on, in person. Wake up, Michael. Come on. This side's a little weak. Keaton and Mia, and come on. This side. Now, here's the thing, and here's the thing I want to share. I love that. Isn't that so freaking cool? So cool. So cool. Thank you all at home. Jennifer, Barry, Diana, I see you. I sometimes you can't say a name, and you're like, you better be quiet there. Sam. There's still some of you not dating him or her. Some of you are engaged. Caleb Coy's married to her. He is married to her, and I'm not jealous because I'm also married to her. But the only piece that I've ever taught my community is the middle section of Sam. But you need to understand list building, and you've got to understand the 5 sales and marketing systems that Advance Your Reach uses in their business. 5 sales and marketing systems that we use in our business. And when you can understand these things, customers begin to pour in. They come in. And you can do it in a way that's not cheesy at all. That's what we're going over tomorrow. That's what we're going over tomorrow. And then the last thing. I'm so excited about this. This is what scale really means to me. I need you to wrap your head around one thing. We've used scale as the bucket for products and services, and that shifts in this methodology because products and services have to do with getting customers. But do you really want to know how to scale your platform? You have to know how to set your business up the right way. Some of you haven't even set your business up the right way. And then, you know what I've done consecutively? You know how some of you can say, I've worked out 432 days straight. Well, you know what I've done for 4 years straight? You know what I've done for 6 years straight? Every single quarter? Strategic planning and being clear on the next 90 days. I've done that for 6 consecutive years. Well, I don't have a team. I didn't either. The only person that used to be in strategic planning was Pete. And you know what we walked out of every strategic planning with? The company's plan, the SAM plan, the product development plan, the financial plan. The company's initiatives, the SAM plan, the product development plan, and the financial plan. A lot of you aren't doing that type of stuff in your business. You want to know how to scale? That's how we scale. Then the third thing. The number one issue that gets in people's ways, which is why I have never taught funnels or setting up a calendar link or building a landing page, which, by the way, takes that much time, but I'm not going to try to, you can't, or logging into a Zoom room is called the tech stack. The technology you use to scale your business. And for the first time ever, on day 3, Julie Stowen will be in the house, talking in the house, talking, I'm getting goosebumps right now, about 4 or 5 of the major things that we use in our business, in our tech stack. And she is going to break down the entire thing for you because it's what allows us to scale, Hetsu. The tech stack allows us to scale. And a big piece of that is funnels. And so you're going to understand truly what a funnel is and the step-by-step game plan on how to build the ones that we've built. 4th thing in scaling, how freaking incredible is my team? How incredible is my team? Hey, yeah, there we go. Yeah, and unbelievable. 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 I'm telling you. Here's what I want to say. Please use them as an extension of your team. But here's what most people don't know what to do. How do I build a team? Where do I start? Do I outsource? Do I hire? What do I do? What's the first hire? I can tell you the first hire. It's freaking easy. I should go get a director of this or a director. No. You should go get an executive assistant or a personal assistant. Once you get to a certain point where you're doing the $10 to $15, $20, $25, $30, $35 hour, $40, $50 hour tasks, I know what the value of my time is. And this might sound absolutely insanely crazy to you, but I know what my hour is worth. When somebody will pay you $100,000 to spend a day with you, just multiply that by 8 hours. And maybe I do some prep work. Maybe I have 2 hours of prep work, so multiply that by 10 hours. And that means my hour's worth $10,000 an hour. Why the crud am I going to do anything in the $1,000 or less an hour range? Not many people in our space have 50 plus employees because they're scared of it. If you want to build a platform, I'm not saying you have to build a 50 plus employee team, but you have to build a team, even if you outsource it. And I'm telling you, man, we have a badass team. A badass team. You have got to understand building a dream team. And then the last part of scaling, you guys have seen this. Listen, you met me through one of my strategic partners. Who'd you guys meet me through? Grant Cardone. Eric Worre. Dean Graziosi, Pedro Adeo. Strategic partnerships. I got a strategic partnership with EO. I'm about to have a strategic partnership with Kingdom Advisors in C12. Strategic partnerships is this. I want to make sure I really believe this. I'm not going to say it as the only secret weapon, but it is one of my secret weapons to scaling. Strategic partnerships are a secret weapon to scaling. Like they really are. It's like getting beyond you and going into partnership with you. I have partners coming at me every single day, and I'm looking for strategic partnerships. This is what scaling looks like. How sexy is that right there? Like for me, it is. For some of you, you're not in that bucket yet, and that's okay. But you've got to know that there is a path to building your platform. A path to building your platform. So this is what I want to do. I'm already 23 minutes and 31 seconds over. But it's my stage. Yeah, Pat. Pat's like, yeah, and you're taking away from my session, next session. Those numbers could fool you and make it think it's just about stages, and stages are a huge part of that. It's about being able to build a platform. That's a concept that I hope that you will buy in for the rest of your professional career. I had Grant, I had Ryan Dice, I had all of these people say, like, what you've got figured out is how to build a platform. A platform. A sustainable platform. So as I get into a little bit of some work that I want you to do, because we're going to do just a little bit of workshop time here in a second. Here is my biggest pet peeve and my biggest issue. Is people out in the world are trying to teach you how to build one piece. Like, I remember when I came in, I'm like, if I run ads, I have a business. BS. Amen. Oh my God, this funnel thing is amazing. If I build funnels, I have a business. BS. Can you generate some money? Yes. Are funnels important? Heck yes. What if I go and do this product launch? Do I have a business? No, I did it. I landed one customer. They refunded. I lost $20,000. You're going to smile before the end of the weekend. There it is, little kind of like... I have to be cautious and careful, but there are a lot of people in this world teaching a piece of the pie. A piece of the pie. And what we're going to go over the course of these 3 days is the entire pie to building your business. Like the whole thing. It's the whole thing. How do I know it? Because I'm part of the less than 1% who's been offered what he got offered for his company. And you don't do that if you don't build a business. If you don't build a holistic business, you do not get that. Yeah, exactly. Truth. You need to hear truth these 3 days. And that's important. So what makes this different? Why do I want virtual? Why do I want you here the entire time? And turn on your freaking cameras for me. I've even gotten past the whole, even if you're driving, because people put their cameras up on the thing here. If you're naked, don't turn it on. Here's what makes 360 different. It's one piece. It's not one piece. It's the whole pie. Do you know what Pat said? Pat said, you know what makes this so different? It's the fastest path to revenues. I'm going to give you the short term and the long term of what it takes to build this business. This is only one, I think Barry told me, only one of 2 hybrid events she's doing this year. Actually 3. And we're the first and the third one. Might be the third one. What does that mean? Well, you'll know what it means here soon. Hybrid. Hey, at home, you're going to be in the room with us next time, but right now you're in the room with us through virtual experience. And I'm so excited because you're going to hear from Pedro. You're going to hear from Barry. I even asked Blue to take his first stage. Like Blue's going to be up here. You're going to hear from Trent Shelton in person. I'm so excited about Stormy Wellington being in person. You're going to hear from John Lee Dumas. You're going to hear from Jen Gottlieb. You know, one of the things that transformed us is us being featured in Forbes last year, like media. So we've got some incredible, incredible speakers. And my big, bold promise is for you over the course of these 3 days. between here and virtual, we will give $100,000 in prizes and giveaways away. We'll give $100,000. That's a lot. That's a lot of money. And I'm not talking about small little things. I'm talking about big things. And you have to be present and you have to do the work. You have to be present and you have to do the work. Now, this thing I'm about to show you, for y'all, it's a workbook on your table. For you at home, it's your dashboard. It's your dashboard. I know you got a workbook because we sent something in the mail, but this execution plan is actually on your dashboard. And it will spit your plan out for you at the end of the couple of days. Make sure that you are doing that on your dashboard and you're doing it in the physical workbook. This is what I call an execution plan. You walk away here, this is your plan. And you will have this done for you once you fill out the dashboard. And every piece that you do online earns you points. Every piece that you do here will earn you points. I might look through your book and make sure that this is complete. I hope that you can walk out with this and saying, this is my execution plan. Like my execution plan. This is really important to me because if not, then you just have a list of things to go get done. I want you to be really clear on what your execution plan is. Here's importance. It's really easy for our virtual people, and it's really, we lock all of the doors all around the building when breakouts happen. Because that's when our introverts don't go find a group of 4 people. This is where 20 to 30, I know the people in this room and I know the people up here. Do you realize during the breakout sessions, 20 to 30 people will speak into your business around that topic that we just spoke about? You can't go anywhere to have 20 to 30 people speak into your business. I would have it a goal if I'm in the room. You can't control this virtually, guys, but I'd make it a goal that I'm with 30, 40 new people in this room. Your next partner, your next business deal, your next affiliate is in this room. Guess what? Your next customer's in this room. Yeah, 3 people got excited about that one. That's the issue. You ain't excited about getting customers. You're like, oh no, then I got to talk to them about my business. Then I get all salesy. No. Every person will share their story and receive feedback. And tomorrow night, you are going to hear 10 profound people that we will announce our 10 finalists right after lunch today. Pat will announce them right after lunch today. Finalists, you get automatically eliminated if you're back in your room practicing during the sessions. Like seriously, I told Pat, if they're not in here during the sessions, they get eliminated. But we have decided that everybody's going to share their story and get feedback. But tomorrow night, you're not only going to get to hear 10, you're going to get to hear from people who control some of the biggest stages and some of the biggest platforms in the world. In the world. Many have said, I'm giving my stage away to one of those finalists tomorrow. Like we're playing matchmaker immediately. And then, like I said, you're going to have the complete path and not just one ingredient. Not just one ingredient. So, what do I say? I say your message matters. And I hope you can understand from a different perspective of what I mean when I hear you, the checkbox. I don't know how God has given me the talent. Like, I cannot remember, I have the most difficult time memorizing scripture, Ken. Like, it's hard for me. Like, I try to memorize scripture, or even sometimes I try to memorize my kids' names and I forget. But when somebody tells me a message, it's like I remember that in my brain. It is the weirdest freaking thing. It's the weirdest thing. But when you're on a mission now to help 1 million people build their platforms to impact 1 billion people, you have to have every niche, every industry, every topic, every domain represented. And man, we haven't even scratched the surface. This year, we'll cross 100,000 people that we're helping build their platforms. But it's a long ways to get to 1 million. But the 1 million is what allows us to change the world. So this concept right here is not some like woo-woo thing. Those names that you see, all of those little notes that you see, those are real people who put the message that they're committed to. And if you were to go read that board is in Colorado Springs. That's people's BHAGs. And if you read that board, it would bring you to tears every single time, because there are hundreds of different industries and topics represented around people and how they're going to change the world. And that's what we're going to do here. So who's excited for the next 3 days? Who's excited? You excited at home? Man, yeah. So this is what I want to do. And we're gonna take a break here in just a minute. We will have a morning break, we'll have lunch, we'll have afternoon break. But I want you to, in here, I want you to focus on this first page. And virtual for about 7 minutes.
Breakout. They're going to breakout.
Oh, not yet. I don't think they're going to breakouts yet. Was that supposed to be for me, Parker? Okay. Parker back there in the back, he's keeping the energy high in here. Listen, on your dashboard at home, I want you, there are a couple of questions here. What's your intentions? My coach on Wednesday asked me, what is your main intention as you walk on that stage? And this is what I told him. To help people get clarity on what I really mean when I say your message matters. I hope I did that in this first session. Did I? And then the second intention is, how do they exponentially take that to a different level? That's still to come. If you're not clear on your intentions, you're going to walk in here and you're going to lose 3 days. Like, be so crystal clear. I would talk about how many people I want to meet. I would talk about the pieces of the Build Your Platform thing that I'm going to really, like, what am I committed to? I want you to just take a couple of minutes. This is a quick activity. 5 minutes, guys. For virtual, it's on your dashboard. Virtual, it's on your dashboard. And in your dashboard, if you have a question, we have people in your rooms that can answer your questions. In person, I'm asking you to also do this. Some of you already did it and you're freaking overachievers. But just take a few minutes, 4 or 5 minutes to do this. Can we? All right, let's start winding this down. I want to do one thing here. This is really, 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 really important. So we've got 3 audiences, about to have 2 audiences with us here. So we've got the in-person. So what I'm going to ask you to do is we're going to actually get in breakouts here for the first time. And the really easy thing is to use the breakout time for a restroom break. I'm asking you to play full out and actually get with people, meet people, connect with people. And here's my goal of this first time, for you to share with 4 other people, get in groups of 4 or 5, and be strong on what your intentions are for the next 3 days. Be really clear on what your intentions are. Because as I stated them to my coach, and he spoke into them, it's what made me be even more powerful in the first session because of that activity I went through with him. So I want you to state your intentions for the next 3 days, and I want people to be able to speak into those intentions. Like, you want to give them some angle or some thought they have around that? Awesome. Hey, virtual, I'm going to ask the same thing of you. Virtual, my goal is that you play full out too. You don't turn your cameras off. You don't go and get food. All of you go into these rooms of 4 or 5 and state your intentions for 2 minutes each. Can you do that all weekend long? You're going to meet 20 or 30 amazing people as well. And so virtual, I'm asking you to do the same thing with 4 to 5 people and be clear on those intentions. Awesome? And then there is a group that's previewing. Hey, virtual and in person, do you think they should make a decision to just go ahead and buy their ticket now? So it's going to advanceyourreach.com/preview. There's, like I said, 700 people who've been riding the fence that are on the preview events. And I'm going to go speak to you backstage right now because you're like, I don't have a workbook. I don't have breakouts. I don't have an execution plan. Well, all of that can change in a matter of seconds if you choose to be here, not just for the first session. So I'm going to come backstage and speak to you. So we're going to do this first breakout for 12 minutes in person. Don't leave the room. Find 4 to 5 different people every time. Virtual, keep your cameras on. Turn your cameras on. They're going to break you out. And then we'll be back in 12 minutes to close this first session out, and take our morning break. Cool? All right, do that right now.